since I went to college, I've not had a sense of time. Like I have a sense of time, but I don't have a sense of time because when I do something, I just get completely into it. Then I don't realize it's day, night. I get very so I have an obsessive disorder, if I may say so, because I just get so invested in it that I family becomes second, and I'm guilty. So don't ever learn that or think about it because I'm so guilty. But also, I'm shameless to say I don't even regret it because I've enjoyed the process. Like I've enjoyed the process and I've enjoyed the journey. To be very honest with you, in 2008, I was such a product of print and TV. So if you met me, I was like, I believed that world is Times of India, where I was working, or world is CNBC. मुझे बहुत चीज़ों से डर लगता है. 2010 onwards, you know, I had a very tragic accident in my life, with someone personal, and I think it changed the course of my life. And I used to fly every day, you know, took aeroplanes and fly for my work in CNBC every day. And then I developed flight phobia. So for 2 years, I was taking medicine. I saw a psychiatrist and I was just not flying.
I'll quickly tell you about our journey and our venture. So,
Yeah.
I was 18 years old and born and brought up in Delhi. My dad used to go to sleep at night and I used to take out his car and go and race with other people. And I used to think I'm going to become a street car racer, and I used to bet on races and all of that. But my dad had lost everything in his business. So one day he called me to his office and he said, "Son, I have two options for you. Join my business from tomorrow," because we had to sell the house and the car. Chota sa ek business bacha tha Delhi mein. He had a small guest house, or get out of the house. So I said, "I'm getting out of the house. You can't talk to me like that," and all of that. But I spoke to my mom and better sense prevailed. Very next morning, I joined my dad's business. This is when I was 18. Now I'm 43. And at that time, there was a new phenomena on the market called the internet, which allowed you to connect with people from different parts of the world. One day, a foreign guest walked in and he paid us in Dutch guilders because there were no euros back then. He paid us in Dutch guilders. And I saw we converted the Dutch guilders. It turned out to be multiple Indian rupees. There was a different tariff that time. A foreign tariff and Indian tariff for hotels and travel companies. And I thought to myself, what if I'm able to fill up all these 27 rooms with foreign guests? I'll be able to double the income and become a star in my dad's eyes. So I was like, let's do this. For that, we needed the internet. Internet was available only in two places in Delhi. I think it was the British School Library and Moray Sheraton Hotel, which was about 350 rupees for half an hour, which was not affordable. Then there was a internet, Pragati Maidan mein internet mela, where for 550 rupees, we got 50 hours of the internet, and we distributed amongst lots of friends, and we realized this is what we need. But then again, that internet finished, we didn't know what to do. After 6, 7, 8 months of waiting, I saw an ad in the paper, which like Satyam Computers looking for cyber cafe partner, something like that. And we were one of the first people in Delhi to get a cyber cafe with the slowest internet on the planet. Half website used to open for before lunch and half after lunch. But we got a website done, ajantahotel.com, which was my dad's small guest house. We were one of the first ever Indian standalone non-brand hotels to go on the internet. Google was not in India, Facebook, TripAdvisor were not born. To cut the long story short, in the next few years, we had so much business coming in because I was ranking on every single keyword. Nobody else was doing it. It was nobody. And so maybe some foreign brands and us. And so we had so much business coming in that in the next few years, we bought one more hotel, and then we bought one more hotel. So Dad took 40 years to build his first hotel. After we discovered the internet, next few years, journey completely changed. That was business number one. Then my mom joined the business and we started a travel company because now we knew how to rank websites and all of that. Started getting people. I used to put a map of Rajasthan at the back and explain to people how this works. That became our second business, took off. I got a call from a company called Make My Trip and Yatra. These were new companies. They said, "We want to do an affiliate model with you." I didn't want to sound like a fool on the phone that I don't know affiliate. So I said, "Send me an email, I'm busy." They sent me an email. They said, "We'll give you 200 or 400 rupees for the conversion of every ticket, just, and do an affiliate with us." I did that, and we started making anywhere from 40 to 50,000 rupees a day in the early 2000s. That was the second business. And then people started saying that, you understand the internet and all of that. Why don't you come and speak on stage? And so I went to multiple stages and people liked the story and they said, "Why can't you do this for us?" That's when in 2009, I started a company called Internet Moguls with a 4-member team. I started helping people with digital marketing, and today we have 200 plus people doing digital marketing. During that journey, Shraddha, what happened was that I had two beautiful daughters and a lovely wife and all of that. And, we chose Vancouver as a second base, nice place for the kids to grow up and all of that. So kids are there. I keep going back and forth. And I realized that this is not working because I want to spend more time with the girls and all of that. So we said, let's do something where we can do a venture together so that we can spend more time with each other and we don't feel that we're away from each other. So every time that we used to sit at home, I used to tell them stories, and we used to talk about entrepreneurship. And so they used to get bored. So we said, let's make it about them. So Raya and Aviana, we put it together and we made a company called Raviana, fictitious company in our heads. And we made it around chocolates because they love chocolates. So Raviana Chocolates was a factory where every day they used to go and we used to talk about, they hired a mentor, which was me. And every day they used to go and talk about how Raviana Chocolates is working and all of that. And so every day was about a new chapter, rituals, problem. So that story became so popular in our family circle. Everybody said you should talk about it more. So then we made a comic book series called Bedtime Stories for Tomorrow's Entrepreneurs, which was about kids becoming entrepreneurs. And we put it on Amazon and we made a huge profit of $500 so far in our first venture. And so that was our first venture. And now that was 2 years ago. And so we said, now I was like, I'm not going to run all over the world speaking all of this drama that I'm doing. I want to now spend time with the girls. So we said, let's make a proper business happen for both of us. So then this next venture came up, which is called the Internet Moguls of the World, which is a proper full-fledged for-profit venture where we are starting. We've interviewed people like we went to Gary Vee's office. We met him 3 times. We Grant Cardone. We met everybody. We made a list and we met everybody. And so what we're doing is we're launching an online school, which is digital marketing for kids, for parents and grandparents. So it's a family school, and Raya and Aviana will be teaching. I'll be teaching. So we're creating a school and a business so that I can now stay at home and build a school with them. So that, and all 3 of us are equal partners in that. And so that's our venture called the Internet Moguls of the World. And then it's going to become a coffee table book like Tools of Titans, and we're going to release it.
Itself, you are a story. All 3 of you are a story, no?
Yeah.
I don't know why you're talking to me. I should be talking to 3 of you.
No, you've done such amazing work. So I mean, I've been telling the girls about you for the last so many months that that you've done such amazing work. Before you started doing this kind of work, India did not have a voice. People didn't have a voice. Whatever people were doing. So thank you so much for doing whatever you've done. And so that was a little bit of a story, backstory on why we're doing this. So thank you very much for your patience.
I'm very honored to be talking to all of you and to you for doing everything so early, and to both these girls, pretty girls. I see them. They're like such an adorable babies, and they're all entrepreneurs. So yeah, amazing. Yeah, very excited.
Awesome.
Now, it's so good. Like, I don't think so emails do justice because somehow you just miss it. I just wish if we could just see each other, then
Yeah. So thank you for giving us your time. We really appreciate it. Raya, you want to start with your first question?
Sure. So, what gave you the confidence or the urge to want to leave your job at CNBC, where you were an assistant vice president? So how did you know it was your time, or when did you want to make your side hustle your real job?
So, there was no particular time, but it started eating me since, so I started in 2008, September, but from 2007 onwards, I was just thinking, because being in media, I was like seeing that the stories which were coming were stories of people who had rich fathers or people who were very old and senior. And I was just thinking, young people who are doing something interesting, why are we not talking? And there was a very dismissive attitude towards them, like, oh, but these guys are not cool. And that got me thinking, what is cool? I still think about what is cool, what is, and why does a story become cool, and why is a story not cool? Why are you cool? Why am I not cool? And I just thought that we need, someone needs to tell stories of people who are not considered cool. And so 2007, I used to think, and then, I thought the idea is always there in all our minds, but if that idea, the word is gnaws-you, Gnaws, I don't know how you pronounce it, is that if it just starts living and sleeping with you at night, and you're going mad with it over a consistent period of time, then you know that, okay, you have to jump and you have to do it. And that's how in 2008, September, I started the site Your Story, and July 2009 I quit CNBC. Yeah. So I can't give you like a exact date, because I was just living with, you'll get obsessed about something and you're just thinking about it and about it. And then it just happened. It just happened one day that you just say, okay, now this is what I want to live with.
Awesome. Abhyana?
Yeah, so my first question is kind of like Raya's. What was your inspiration to start your story?
Oh, I love, this is the first time somebody so young has asked me a question, and this is so cool. Thank you so much. My first inspiration to start Your Story, and why I started Your Story, is, I am, and then I always talk about it because it has been such a core part of my upbringing. When I was young girl, like you both, I stayed in a very conservative family and background. So I grew up in Bihar, and when I was growing up, it was very unsafe place, and especially for girl childs. And the whole narrative was that time that you had to grow up, become 18 years of age, and get married, and that was somehow a written destiny for me. Like the caste community, place, family where I came from, it was decided, oh, you have to get married, and you don't have a voice, and you can't have your own story. And somewhere I always started living in fantasy land, and that's why I love your bedtime stories for entrepreneurs, because I didn't have a book, but I always lived in dream world. So I started living in my mind that life will be amazing and magical, and I started thinking how and what, and that's how I studied. Went to a very good college in Delhi, St. Stephen's. Your father will know about that college, and I always knew that you could accomplish anything if you put your mind to it. And more importantly, the world recognizes, the way the world recognizes your success depends on how well you tell your story. And because all of us have something inside and amazing and nice and good, how well do you tell your story? So I was just thinking, my background, where there was no story. Second, I was surrounded by people who could not communicate properly. They didn't know how to speak English, and they were always considered as the second-rate citizens, and ridiculed and made fun of. So when you go to Delhi, and again, your father will verify that, where I come from, people, you make fun of, oh, Biharis are like very poor, very useless, speak in a very ridiculous manner. So somehow all those things started shaping me, where I was from very young age, I thought that we need to value everyone. We need to figure out interesting stories of everyone, and we need to tell it, and tell it very beautifully, because not all of us can speak amazingly. Not all of us can tell our stories, write our stories. So who will tell stories of such people? And that's how so those were the things that inspired me to tell stories. And of course, I joined media. I was in Times of India, CNBC. I was in senior roles. I saw how media works, and somewhere media does not celebrate people who are not already successful. So I was just thinking that who will celebrate people who are not already successful? And that's how in 2008, I started Your Story.
Wow, that is brilliant. A lot of people don't know how to tell their story. We have a thing called the hero introduction, where we say that you get a short, small opportunity to introduce yourself to people. So that's how I say, my name is Avi Arya, father of 2 girls, 6 dogs, husband to a superwoman, a streetcar racer turned hotelier, now social media marketer and founder of Internet Moguls.
Wow.
2 seconds to introduce yourself. And that's what we teach everybody as well.
Wow.
Okay, back to you, Beta.
I think in India, we need, all of us as entrepreneurs and startups need to learn this pitch, because if you tell us to tell our story, we'll go on forever. So
I know. So we taught this hero introduction. We have a online community. We've taught this to 15,000 people in the last 1.5 years.
Wow.
Got it, the hero introduction, and it's becoming quite a...
I think you have so many stories. I would love to, in fact, tell your stories, all of you. Yeah.
These girls have a beautiful story. I just make sure that I'm able to get their story exposed to as many people, because that's, I just feel that because, 18, they go to college or whatever happens. Now they're, 14 and 11. So the next 5 to 6 years, this is my time to educate them. And I told them, I said, we're always going to have this business together. So that, and we'll be running it from wherever you're doing, studying, whatever, we'll be running the business, we'll be growing it. Whenever you want to come back to the business full time is fine, but that will be a cord. It's also a selfish motive so that I stay connected to my kids.
But that's a story which all the fathers need to hear that. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Raya, back to you.
Okay. So my next question was, when you initially start a business, a lot of people struggle with, actually making money out of it, getting customers out of it. So how did you find your competitive advantage, and which is your own and no one can copy it? And how do you sell that in a way that people actually buy from you?
I wish at your age I could ask that question. Yeah. So to answer your question, the advantage which you have over the others, sometimes I don't believe it's based on, the world says it's based on patent, maybe in pharmaceutical companies it could be, but I just think the advantage you have is very intrinsic. And I think the advantage I had from day one, and that's why I knew that I'm going to do well, and I've always believed that I will do well, is that two things. One, my intent has been super very pure. It didn't come from a reasoning of, I want to make money, I want to become popular, I want to have a great, easy life. The intent was that I want to tell every story the most beautifully, give everyone a voice which they didn't have. And that has been something that has been driving me for last 12 years. So my intent, I feel, because nobody can match me on the purity of my intent. And second thing, the advantage I had is I'm a workaholic. I am very proud of working hard. And I think when you work hard in a very focused way, nothing on this planet, and I am ready to be challenged. Like everyone, of course, works hard, but if you work hard with great, pure intent every day, then no one can beat you. And I have had a lot of competition from the biggest media to people telling me, oh, we can create something like your story in one day. To like, I don't want to go on record, but like some of the biggest names in the country have been just challenging that we could do something better. But we are 12 years old, standing, growing taller, becoming better, and people loving us much more. And I think that only comes with these two things: purity of intent and extremely focused hard work. And that's been my competitive advantage, if I may say so.
Lovely. No, of course. It's a brand that every, like you say, I didn't know that this is one of the motivating factors, that everybody in smaller towns also needed a voice. That's what you started off with. But today everybody knows that, this is a platform to share your story. And
also want to answer her question. And one of the things, maybe from a business standpoint, if you think, if I had to look back, then I think the one thing that we hinged ourselves on was to tell only positive stories. So in media, if you say, people tell all kinds of stories, right? But every day, consistently for 12 years, if your focus doesn't get diverted to other things and you do the same thing, however boring, normal it might be, then it just clearly makes you win.
Right.
Abhyana?
Yeah, so my second question is, we use the term internet moguls a lot, which our definition of an internet mogul is someone who spends quality time with their family, but also works hard to improve their business. So what would your definition of an internet mogul be?
Internet moguls?
Yeah. So that's the topic, that's a name of our brand, Internet Moguls of the World. So people who use the internet to become whatever. So how do you define some internet moguls?
I would say 2-3 things which are very, very important. People who chase for clarity in their own lives, and I think lives as total, complete, holistically. People who constantly look for clarity, which is like all the questions that keeps coming, and every day we have so many questions, but just pushing yourself to get the answers, and constantly striving to be much clear in what you want in your life, personally, professionally, and then just focusing and enjoying the flow. Somehow I'm a huge fan of enjoying the process, because I wouldn't be doing your story for so many years if I didn't enjoy the process. So I have to enjoy the day. I have to enjoy that moment. So people who just look for enjoying that day, the moment, having fun while doing it, doing whatever they are doing, being like, watching a Netflix movie, but being at that moment watching that movie, or by being like, I love spending time with my dogs. I have two dogs. So,
Wow.
every morning I have to spend time. So my 1 hour is with them. So you're there. Or when I tell stories, being completely mindfully present and, just enjoying the process. So those people who just enjoy very madly, it's like, when you create music, or when you create, or when you do a dance, or when you make a painting, draw, you enjoy. Of course you like what you've done in the end, but you just enjoy putting the colors, and I think that those to me are internet mughals.
Lovely, lovely. We would love to. Can you tell us the names of your dogs, please?
I didn't give them the names, so Addie and Phoebe.
Addie and Phoebe. Because the girls run a rescue. We run a rescue and in Vancouver and here in Delhi as well. So dogs, we rescue dogs from the streets and all of that. So Raya, would you like to name all your dogs?
Okay, so we have currently we have Rufus, Benji, Romeo, Paris, Joey, Dora, and Sandy.
Angel.
Oh, wow.
And Angel. And Angel.
Oh, I wish I can hug you. I love people who take care and love dogs, and then, just rescuing. It's such a powerful thing to do. Great, very good.
Like I said, our story is like that. Father of two girls, 6 dogs. So everything in our life revolves around, revolves around dogs. So I didn't know this part, that every day you get up. and
My life also, to a large extent, revolves around my dogs now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, if you're a dog person, you're a dog person, and then there's everybody else in the world.
Oh yeah. Many people tell me I don't have kids, and many people, so there's this family bantering, and among your relatives, and everyone banters, and one of the things which I've been consistently telling everyone for the last 5-6 years is, oh, I don't want to have kids, because they are my kids, right? Like, they are not just kids; they are your soulmates. They are your everything, and they're like
Right.
magic.
I totally understand. When I say father of 2 girls, 6 dogs, people are like, how can you talk like that? I'm like, why can't this be like what it is?
No, I get that.
Shraddha, I was telling the girls a couple of days back that every youngster who starts a business in the country, one of their biggest aims is, or wish list is, to meet you, get a picture with you, get a selfie with you. And so it's obviously you've come a long way, because everybody looks up to saying that if I can meet Shraddha, then because they see your story, they see all of that. Who is that? Who are these? And you met everybody. You met everybody on the planet. Who is it that you still are aspiring to meet? That's that one person or 2 people or
Meet.
to still meet and say, like, who are you still a fan of? And say, I want to get them on my show or whatever.
Oh, a lot of people, and for different things, just to understand, because somewhere it's so interesting to just go deep with a person.
Yeah.
And I would say so many. One person, if I had, and I can't rewind the time, but if I could rewind, and it has been like a personal, many, many years young girl fantasy, was to meet Princess Diana.
Wow.
Because somehow I just loved everything about her, because the pain she had, and the way she did, and the way she presented herself to the world, where no one knew what happened in her life. There were so many layers to her. If I could, I would have loved to meet her and interview her. I can go on. Currently, I would say I would love to meet Jeff Bezos, because somehow I just think that there is 2 sides to his personality. One which is building something which is so large scale but process driven company like Amazon, but there is something in him which also goes for all these wild adventures, where he's planning to go to Mars, or buying a Washington Post, or the way he the treks or the things he goes to clean Antarctica with his mother. So so I like people with very, with dichotomy.
Right.
That,
Yeah.
and I don't like people who are very simple,
Right.
but perfect and amazing and cool, because that to me is very boring. So people
Right.
with those kind of things, I would love.
Awesome. Awesome. Shraddha, tell us, you got into the business, you knew a little bit about media. I love this, what you said. I didn't know about this. You were like, I love what you said. You said that you wanted simple people and not cool people to feel cool because they are cool because they're simple. And you brought their stories ahead. But you had to adopt, you have now one of the strongest internet mediums in the country. So how did you, tell us a little bit about digital marketing and internet that allowed you to say, what did you learn about the internet that allowed you to take your message? Because when you started, maybe the internet was just about getting started.
Oh, yeah, it was very, very nascent.
Yeah.
Honestly, to be very honest with you, in 2008, I was such a product of print and TV. So if
Right.
you met me, I was like, I believed that world is Times of India, where I was working, or world is CNBC.
Right.
And digital, I didn't even understand. So then, but one very interesting thing, and especially for the girls, that you should know, always now there are books coming like Hooked and all that to create your hooks. But whatever business you are doing, always ask the question, what's going to be the hook? What's hooking about it? What's going to get people to constantly come to it or be excited and make it viral on its own? So what I didn't realize, because I told you that my intent was purely to tell great stories and to tell stories of people who were not cool. But what I didn't realize, and that I can't take credit for planning or whatever, is that, when you tell a story, when I told the story of a young person on internet, then they used to put their stories out. They used to share it on emails. They used to put it on Facebook. So every story of which I did became a hook, right? Because that story started, and if some, like I remember still doing a story in 2009, 8 or 9, of this guy called Kashyap Deora. Now he has written a book and he's a big celebrity in the startup world. But that time he was a young boy, and he ran a startup called Chowpatty.in, which got acquired to Future Bazaar. And that was very, very early days. And then, he was in IIT Bombay. So I told his story, and suddenly everyone from IIT Bombay, because he circulated it to everyone. And then everyone was like, oh, I need to get covered. So till date, I think a lot of virality that comes for your story comes because when you tell the story, then you share, right? And that became a very strong network effect, if I may say so, for the model. And and that created, and then of course you intersperse it with, like last year we did Prime Minister Modi's interview, and I spent some time with him, and I think I saw a huge jump in our reach and traffic and perception after that. So you do stories of people whose story nobody wants to do, and you make it cool, and then you do stories of people whose story everyone wants to hear in a different way. So you mix it, and all those things you keep on, you learn all these things while you're doing it, because you have to do it to learn it. Otherwise, nobody can tell you what to do. So I think these were some of the things which created virality in the model. To answer your question on digital marketing.
So your focus has always been, and what the girls, what I think what Shraddha is suggesting is, make your customers shine, make them the superstars.
Oh, absolutely. Your story, you can't be, one of the things, and especially to both of you, because you are interviewing me and you are talking to me, one of my secrets I will share with you. And you remember, and you are very young, but Raya, but I'm going to tell you also this, remember somewhere, because you'll find this boring, but remember this, when you are in this business of talking to other people, meeting interesting people, cool people, and being cool, we start thinking we are the coolest. Always remember, you are not the story. The story is the person whose story you are talking to, listening to. So make the other person the story, make the other person the star. My journey, if I can sum up in one line, I have genuinely, very affectionately, without any mean bone in my body, tried to make everyone a star. And in the process, as your father is saying, I have become a little bit of star.
Of
So
course.
always remember that, always celebrate the other person, the customer. It could be the customer, it could be the reader, it could be, just anyone who you're engaging with. Just keep that, just let nothing in the world detract you from that focus.
Right.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Wow.
That one line just sums up so many things, Raya. You understand, Abhyana?
I
Okay,
really understand.
Raya.
Okay. So my last question is, like I was saying, it does get hard to initially start to learn customers. So what was a huge marketing strategy you use to get customers quickly and make a reasonable profit of it?
So, so honestly, I would love to say strategy, but at that time it was just figuring out. There was no strategy per se. The only thing was that because I was telling stories, so one of the entrepreneurs whom I met said, "Hey, why don't you meet this guy?" I still remember in 2008, and uh, 2-3 months after I had started, this guy called Bakshish Datta from Sun Microsystems, which it was a large company like Microsoft, but got acquired by Oracle. So I met this guy in a coffee shop in Mumbai, and he said, "Oh, can you do this for me?" Which is like get some kind of businesses enrolled in his program. I said, absolutely. And he said, have you done this in the past? I said, absolutely not. Then he said, how do you think you're going to do it? I said, you have to trust me. I will do it. And then I think maybe I just said, nobody else can do it. Only I can do it. And I just ate his head. And he was like, he started laughing and he said, I have to give you a try. Like, let's give it a try. And he said, I'm going to give you a certain amount of money, but if you get all these people, then I'll give you X plus, like for example, if I'm giving you 1 lakh rupees, and if you get more people, then I'll give you 2 lakh rupees. I said, done, deal done. And then the only thing I still remember, and that's where your answer comes, is I told him, if I do a very good job, while you'll give me 1+1, like, you'll give me the bonus amount and all that money. But if I do a kick-ass job, then you have to refer me to 3 more people who are going to work with me. And then he said, okay, done, because he thought, anyways, whom will he have to refer? Because she will anyways not be able to do. But not did I get him the number of people. I got him not only the number, which he said was, if you complete, you'll get bonus. I got him like 3 times more than what he expected. And then he only connected me to his partners in US for more business. And then he only connected me to his friend in Microsoft. And then, so from there, the magic began, because every success, and my only rule of thumb was, if I do a good job, you connect me to 3 more people, 4 more people, and give me references online. So if you go to my LinkedIn profile, like in 2008 or 9 only, or sometime, he's given me a reference. Now that doesn't even matter, but it's just such a memory and history for me that that guy went ahead and did that. And then people start, so you just always ask for references, so that you can, and genuine references, not, hey, they were very good, but something really specific. And second thing is, get them to endorse you. So get your people who give you money to endorse you, and then it just starts flowing in.
Right.
Perfect. Abhyana?
Yeah, so my last question is, so it does get hard to balance out your business time with your family quality time. So how do you do that?
How do I spend time with my family?
How do you spend time with your family, but also balance out your business time?
So honestly, I just don't think so. This answer, both of you as girls should listen to me, because I'm very bad at that. I don't think so. I have managed my time since I went to college. I've not had a sense of time. Like, I have a sense of time, but I don't have a sense of time, because when I do something, I just get completely into it. Then I don't realize it's day, night. I get so I have an obsessive disorder, if I may say so, because I just get so invested in it that family becomes second, and I'm guilty. So don't ever learn that or think about it, because I'm so guilty. But also, I'm shameless to say I don't even regret it, because I've enjoyed the process. Like, I enjoyed the process and I've enjoyed the journey. So the only person whom I wanted to spend a lot of time and who came first for me was my mother. So if I could leave everything if my mother demanded. And I used to fight with her because you know how mothers are, like they can be so nagging. Like eat this. Like you grow up also, and you girls are so young. I'm sitting in my office as a senior person in CNBC, and then the phone will come. Did you eat this? Your hair is did you comb your hair properly? And I'm like, dude, I'm like grown up. And then she used to say about my dress, everything my mother was obsessed about that I should do it properly. And every day she used to call. So for that, for her, I could take out time, but I just don't think so today. Yeah, today I'm not spending balanced time with family and this. I think work defines most of who I am, but I would say I don't see work as work. What I do is very therapeutic. It heals me. I enjoy it, and that's why I do it.
Wow. Awesome.
Lovely.
Don't say wow. I just your father must be hating me. Oh, she's spoiling my girls.
Not at all.
Don't live a life like this.
No, not at all. I've got a very simple aim that the girls should learn from everybody and choose what they want.
Yeah, of course.
I don't want to take them in any direction.
Yes.
The only thing I tell them to do is, have a good heart, which they already take care of dogs and all of that. So they're already building that their mother teaches them that. They do the Gayatri Mantra every day. Also we've got 200 plus people. 11 years back we started. The first day we did Gayatri Mantra at 2 p.m. And today we work with any big brand, I don't want to name the brand, but by the grace of God, some big brands, we say conference room, you can wait or join us. 11 years, every single day, 7 days a week, the entire staff does Gayatri Mantra every day.
Wow. That's amazing. Gayatri Mantra in itself has such a power. It's just, I every morning, by the way, listen to it. So
Okay.
I do. Since childhood, we used to pray. So my mother used to make us pray, and I used to hate it at that time because I wanted to watch TV. That time there used to be Chitra or something, and sometimes it was late. But we had to pray every morning and every evening, and it just used to be so irritating sometimes. But it now has become a habit, and I just have to do something in the morning. Yeah, lovely. Wow, very impressed.
So that's what we're trying to do. We have a small hotel business as well. We have a small resort in Goa and a hotel over here. And the check-in also stops at 2 o'clock. The first happens and then. So my aim for the girls is only one, that you do your prayers, you take care of your dogs, because your empathy will come from taking care of dogs and prayers. After that, listen to everybody, suno sabki, karo apni, uske baad life aapko apni direction pe le jayegi. The prayers have a way. My father also says that if we do Gayatri Mantra, aap galat ja hi nahi sakte. At least there will be a inner meter. So that's
Inner meter. That's a powerful word that you're saying. Yeah. Develop your own inner meter. Yeah.
So these girls are, they're way ahead of what I was at that age and in any aspect. And Shraddha, I want to ask you, what scares you? आपको किस चीज से डर लगता है?
What scares me?
Because I talk to so many kids, we have a program which me and the girls are doing. All three of us, we teach internet marketing. We teach how to make videos for brands, small and big. So we have a decent following, and like I said, 15,000 students have learned from us how to make videos, YouTube channel, how to go live, and almost everybody in our community is a huge fan of yours.
No. Come on. Now you're pulling my leg. Come on. No, not at all.
I'll put it on the community and I'll show you what the response. So with that, I'm coming from there, that when there's so many people look up to you, आपको किस चीज से डर लगता है?
मुझे बहुत चीजों से ऑनेस्टली सोच रही हूँ, सच बोलूं या थोड़ा मास्क करके बोलूं, बट मुझे बहुत चीजों से डर लगता है. 2010 onwards, I had a very tragic accident in my life with someone personal, and I think it changed the course of my life. And I used to fly every day, took aeroplanes and fly for my work in CNBC every day. And then I developed flight phobia. So for 2 years, I was taking medicine. I saw a psychiatrist, and I was just not flying. So, if I had to go to Delhi from Bangalore, then I would take trains, and which were like 3 days, and suddenly you used to fly. But I just couldn't, that there was this constant thing in my head that something will blast. And this and it was just such a mind thing that something is just going to, everything is smooth, but something is going to go berserk, and something will blast, and it will be crazy, and it will burn. And then I saw a psychiatrist, and honestly, I saw a lot of psychiatrists at that time. That really helped me. Took me time. I'm still not completely out of it, but actually I am okay now. So it took me 10 years. I'm very scared. As a kid, I used to be very scared of ghosts and dark. So I can't stay alone at night. I have this fear, and not of people. I can deal with any people, but I have this invisible ghost fear. But and it's so funny that if I go to for a ghost movie, then I'll be younger than all the young girls. Then I'll be like, sitting in the lap of someone next to me, because I'll be like, oh my god. And so I don't watch any ghost movies at all, and nobody is near me is allowed, at least when I'm there to watch, because the noise and the sounds of those horror movies create a lot of horror. And moreover, I'm scared of, as a person, I'm scared, not scared, but I do reflect that today, as I grow old, I don't want to be cynical. I don't want to be, I don't want to be stuck up. I don't want to be caught up in my own views. I want to be like, I think one thing I've cherished about myself is I've been very open to everything, every point of view, every things I might not like, disagree. And I think that openness about me, I just don't think so with time, because you see so much of world, so much of hardship. I just don't want to lose that, because I think that's, to me, that's death. When you just become so caught up and have one-sided view. I don't like old people. I don't think you become old by age. Right. I think you become old because you stop seeing the fun. You won't believe, last night, I think it was a full moon day or something, and I just, for half an hour, I looked at the moon. I was looking at the moon because the moon was shining so brightly, because we are all under lockdown. There is no pollution, and I was thinking, oh my god, have I seen the moon shine so brightly? And I want to retain that. Tomorrow, if I don't find that joy in openness, in small things, in being just who I am, and just becoming old and khadoos and stuck up, I don't want to be that. So I get scared of that.
Thank you for being so honest about all of this. One thing that you can, for fear of flying, you can do is maybe, get your own private plane. Maybe that helps.
Oh, no, I've been offered by a lot of rich people whom we work with. Let's do to travel in their jets, private jets. I think that's even more scary, because that's going to be even more turbulent. The big planes are okay, not the small ones.
All the planes can move around. Okay, we're coming to the end. Last 5 minutes. Wanted to ask you. See, so Shraddha, we are on a mission. And I never used to, it took me a long time. आजकल हर startup, हर बच्चा vision और mission के साथ ही शुरू हो जाता है. I don't know कैसे होता है वो, but मेरे को बहुत time लगा to find the right vision. I told you how the hotel journey, I wanted to become a streetcar racer, and then life changed. My mom and dad thankfully steered me in the right direction. And then different things happened. जो भी नाम, काम, छोटी बहुत शोहरत वगैरह जो मिली, वो इस वजह से मिली because मेरे को लगता है कि everything happens. I believe in my parents more than I believe in God. So सब कुछ उनकी वजह से हुआ. जैसे भी उन्होंने guide किया, थोड़ा सा नाम बना. But only after I had my 2 daughters, I started finding real vision in life. कि मैं कौन हूँ और मैं क्या करना चाहता हूँ. I found my identity as the father of these 2 girls. And उसके equally guilt भी आया कि मैं अपने लिए कितना कर रहा हूँ, इनके लिए कितना कर रहा हूँ. So मेरे साथ अंदर जो वो था कि कुछ होने के लिए कुछ पाना पड़ता है. किसी को तो बिजनेस चलाना पड़ता है. फैमिली को थोड़ा सा, अगर आप फैमिली का टाइम स्पेंड करोगे तो बिजनेस नीचे जाएगा. मुकम्मल जहां नहीं मिलता. ये वाली चीजें मुझे बहुत साल उन्होंने मुझे परेशान किया कि मुकम्मल जहां क्यों नहीं मिल सकता. क्यों मुझे अपने सपने को मारने की जरूरत है कि मैं अपना बिजनेस ना चलाऊं और फिर बच्चे इग्नोर होंगे. अगर बच्चों के साथ मैं दिन रात रहना चाहता हूं, ड्रॉप देम टू स्कूल, पिक देम अप, तो इसका मतलब कि मैं अपना सपना आगे बढ़ता हुआ नहीं देखूंगा. बिकॉज दैट्स, I keep telling the girl that internet moguls, beta, this is my 3rd child, this is your brother as well. I mean, it's the same company. So with this, we said, okay, we'll put a vision together and we'll start working together and let's make a company like that with one mission and vision in life. जिसको अब मैं without marketing language के mission क्या है आपका, अब मैं दिल से बोल सकता हूँ कि मेरा एक ही mission है हमारा, that to be able to say that आज की डेट में, because you understand digital, you understand social media, you understand the power of videos, आप कहीं से भी काम कर सकते हो. And एक घर के हमारा aim है in our online school that we are building, that 4 members of every house should join our school. the mother, father, the two kids, and maybe the grandparents who are also living in the same house. कोई affiliate marketing सीखे, कोई blogging सीखे, कोई video making सीखे, और चारों लोग नया skill सीख के किसी के साथ भी दुनिया में काम कर सकते हैं और घर पे एक साथ रह सकते हैं और ये कहने की और शाम को डिनर पे आ सकते हैं सारा. I want the father to be home and the mother to be home for dinner with the kids and still run their business. And अगर छुट्टी पे जाना है तो they have that vacation time together if they want. So that ये ना कहना पड़े कि यार I'm traveling all over the world, I'm taking 200 flights, बेटा मैं तुम्हारे लिए ही कर रहा हूँ, और फिर time निकल जाए, and at 50 there will always be a regret that I didn't spend time with them. So this is, this has come out to be our vision. And we sat down and we made a vision multiple times with the girls. We did a vision chart, vision board, and we said, if I'm forcing my vision on you, I told both of them, and I said, if your vision, then it's not really the vision. So let's make a family vision. And family vision mein jo cheez common thi was this, that we will build a business together, which will be an online school, and we'll be teaching people and all of that. So that became our mission. So from your advice, you met so many people, you've run such a successful this thing. More amazingly, you're such an amazing person, and I've heard from all my friends and everybody who knows you. What would be your advice for our venture? How should we? I don't want to make it the 10 साल पहले. I wanted to make every company the biggest company in the world. अब मैं नहीं करना चाहता. I want to make it the best and the most boutique, most compact, most passionate. What should we do to take this business to the right people?
To right people. If you already have the business, there are so many ways to reach the right people. We would love to tell your story. We can promote it and take it to a lot of people. And I would just say, like I said, right? Like if you're saying that you want to have the two parents, like the parents and the two kids and a grandparent, I would love to see some of those stories. You know how it is, right? Like if I can see some real stories where the impact has been created, that in itself becomes, because the idea is so powerful, just bringing everyone together to learn and rather than just wasting time watching TV or if someone on TikTok and someone on this, like you're just getting everyone to learn and just be together. That's okay. You can be for 1 hour on TikTok, but 1 hour you can be in your school. So is that how do you just bring everyone to get together? If you can tell those stories, show us those stories, I think that in itself will become very viral, because that needs to be told. This is the first family digital school, right?
Okay.
Like one. And second thing is, I think today it's rather than ads and everything, of course, all those Facebook ads and blah, blah might work. But more than that, people really want to talk and your vision, getting the three of you together, talking to people constantly, using social media. For me, one of the biggest channels that has worked, because I never got any press coverage because media thought we were media, right? So the thing is that we use very effectively social media ourselves. And that's why I'm just saying that if you have 1 or 2 family stories, your own stories, and if you can keep on sharing it in a very real way on social media, which is, I think, primarily Instagram now, Facebook, and these 2 channels, at least for this, it would be you'll see it will do so well. Okay. I need again, going back to the hooks, right? Like what are the hooks to the model? Like, and why are people going to come to it? So I would always say, what are the hooks you're creating to get me? And the hook to get me would be, I should see as a grandparent, oh, this other grandparent was there and he felt very good and the people were excited and he could add value by getting all the family members to this digital school. Right. So that hook, how do you do that? How do you do a hook where I'm a young girl, kid, and I say, I got my parents and grandparents. So for all of them, different hooks to come. Okay. And then second thing is, once they have come, then what's the authentic, genuine, very real, unfabricated stories that you can push. And then if you do that like consistently, you know that it's going to do very well.
Perfect. Thank you. It's such a simple thing, but the way you explained it, again, coming back to your story.